350 WNBA players' salaries to match NBA star Steph Curry's annual salary. Can you believe that? There are only 124 players in the WNBA. I'll let y'all do that on that at home, but historically the women's game and the women themselves have been cited as the reasons for the pay gap or the comparatively small viewership numbers. We're going to get into that in a second. But first, what about the structure itself? Well, along with Monica here, we also have Olympic hockey gold medalist and new co-owner of the Chicago Red Stars of the NWSL, Kendall Coyne, Schofield in the house to talk about this. So let's jump right in because the structure, I think that's the point of all of this. The misconceptions about the structure and where it takes it to going to the investment of women's sports. And Kendall, I'll actually start with you. What do you think is that biggest misconception when we speak about investment into women's sports?
Well, first off, Lindsay, MJ, Monica, thank you so much for having me. This is an important topic, one that affects all of us. When you talk about the structure, I want to take a step back and refer to it as the infrastructure and the lack of infrastructure. And that doesn't just mean the league itself, that means the broadcast, the home, where people can go to see, people who are buying tickets, people who are investing, people who are putting these players in a position to succeed night in and night out. That means the resources, the type of equipment, the housing that they're living in, the pay that they receive, everything that it takes to be ultimately professional goes into a proper infrastructure, and that ultimately allows the players to put the best product on the ice, field, or whatever sport you need.
Monica, what are your thoughts on this? Because you've also talked a lot about the marketing side that goes along with all of this.
Well, the WNBA is one that's near and dear to me. It's a perfect example of what Kendall's talking about in terms of the legs that are put behind the gap. And we've seen in particular the last 2 years in the WNBA, viewership is up significantly. I think it's up 44% this season. But I think back to last season, prior to the year this year where we're celebrating the 25th anniversary, small things, marketing campaigns. The orange hoodie, guys. We saw Kobe in that. We saw Will Wayne, a ton of NBA players. That was a great marketing campaign, and it was able to drive eyeballs. This year, now that the WNBA put on a bigger platform and more support has been given, yes, to not just the league, but the individual athletes, we're seeing more people turning their head with genuine curiosity as sports fans. What is this sports league about?
I love that Kendall said that too, and Monica, to your point, not so much the structure, but the lack thereof, right? The access is really what I'm looking for, to put people in a position to be able to enjoy these sports, to get to know the athletes, to get to know what's happening around the sports and the events. I think is as much part of it as anything else. But, you know, kind of you just became the investor in the Chicago Red Stars. I think that part in and of itself and that investment group has been so exciting to see, right? Because of people coming from all over the place, and actually other women from other sports investing as well. So can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think it's cliche, but in order to make money, you have to spend money. And we need to invest in women's sports if we want them to be as successful as our male counterparts. As we know, as successful as all four of us know they can be, we need to invest, we need to spend. And I think when it came to Chicago Red Stars being in my backyard, it was a no-brainer. But for my role, there's a lot going on, but I think I'm learning a ton. I'm learning from all of the different owners and what really goes into owning a team and what goes into running a team. And there's different passions from each owner, which I love. And where I come from is I know what the players need, I know what the coaches need, I know what we need to be successful on the field because I'm a player myself, I'm a coach myself. I wear many different hats. And I think the other role that I'm so passionate about is letting our fans in Chicago, all across Illinois, know that the Red Stars are our women's professional soccer team, and we need butts in the stands, and they need to know about our team. And we're getting great coverage on TV. We're getting more and more fans now that obviously they're able to come in without with the loosening of the COVID-19 restrictions. But it's making sure that every sports fan in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area, knows about our Chicago Red Stars.
You know, you mentioned that, and so this is certainly a trend. It's an extremely positive trend we're seeing with that also in LA with Angel FC. You've got people like Natalie Portman, Abby Wambach, similar to your scenario, right, who are investing. So you hope that really does move the needle. When you talk about equal pay, the biggest argument is women's sports just don't draw the same viewership, right, as their male counterparts. What is your all's response to that? How do we answer that reasoning?
Well, I want to jump in because we used the stat to open up this segment about the 144 players in the WNBA, and you would need 350 of them to account for Steph Curry's salary. They are not asking to be paid like the men. The WNBA season is 4 months if you are a team that makes it to the playoffs and into the final round. They're asking for an equal slice of the pie. And that's why this last CBA negotiation was so powerful, because it put things in place that allowed players to be better paid, to travel under better circumstances, to be supported as moms, because we know how multifaceted these women are as athletes. And so the idea that women are whining about money compared to the men is a little bit off target. That's not a little. That's a lazy argument. So it's just about equality and what the league does generate.
What about you, Kendall? Monica, going off that too, when we had our battle with USA Hockey in 2017, it wasn't an equal pay case like many thought it was, because our counterparts are those in the National Hockey League. We're not asking for the players in the National Hockey League. See, we're fighting for equity. We're fighting for equitable support. We deserve the same resources, the same amount of coaches, the same type of travel, the same type of accommodations, all of those things, the same dollar amount when it comes to per diem, the same number of meals, all these things that seem second nature, but they're not when it comes to women and women in sports. And then people are like, well, why aren't you as successful? Why don't as many people watch you? Well, put us on TV and I guarantee you they'll watch. But they knew where to find us, when to find us. If we were marketed, sometimes we go to places and you're like, oh, why are you in town? Or you get to the airport and they'd see red, white, and blue and a bunch of 23 USA hockey bags. Oh, what are you doing here? Oh, we're just, competing in the World Championships on our home soil. We're doing nothing. We're marketing ourselves. That's what we gotta do. But then don't tell us, how the building's not full. Well, we can only wear so many hats when it comes to our performance. I think women in sports have done an incredible job wearing those different hats and being as successful as we are. But that time has to end. That time has come to an end. It's over. We need to market, we need to invest, and we need to let the players, the coaches, everyone do that, whatever their job is.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Monica. Thank both of you ladies for joining us today. This is a conversation that we could certainly have for much longer, but we really appreciate you guys both being here for this. That's going to do it for us today. And as a reminder, On Her Turf at the Olympics will be streaming every single day, Monday through Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Sunday, don't forget, it's at 6 p.m. And be sure to also follow On Her Turf on Instagram and Twitter. We'll be back tomorrow.
By Billy, proud partner of Team USA.
Tonight, we're talking weather and more sports as Tropical Storm Peacock is bearing down on Tokyo and shifting the Olympic schedule, but nothing will stop what we have in store in terms of our spirits. Cannot slow down Tokyo tonight for the Olympic Games. Kenny Man, Kieran Champion here with you. Let's get to it. Katie Ledecky back in the pool, looking for a gold after a second place finish last night. She's not happy. We're rooting her on. She is a champion in every sense of the word. There was gold in the pool last night, though, for the United States. Caleb Dressel and the 4x100 relay team. They took it. Congratulations. So, as Tokyo Games get underway, we will have guests that are Olympians from past and present. The storm itself may be coming, but the flame, the heat that we bring, Kenny, is never going to stop.
Very brilliant. Heat 24/7. It's nighttime here, morning over there. We're back for a third try and have instituted major changes in meeting earlier that will benefit you and your family's viewing experience. One thing we're going to stick with is a quick look at the top at a couple notable moments.
These are my favorite things. This is the title that we just gave it right now. So I'm going through the Twitter and the gram, as the kids call it, and I find myself always wanting to know who are people who are that happy. As my partner, Kenny Mayne, says, what is your zeal for life?
Zest for life.
Zest. I keep calling him zeal. What's his? What is Dean Vauxhall's zeal for life? What level is he on right now? He is celebrating after his swimmer, Ariana Tignes, beat the legend Katie Ledecky for gold. And you cannot understand how excited he is. You just have to watch it. This went viral. That type of energy, I want that all night, every night, for 4.5 hours on Tokyo Tonight. Out of you, Kenny.
We'll try. That would compensate for sad to say robots have taken over Earth. It's over. Good try, everybody. No, you know what this reminds me of?
Tell me.
When Marshawn Lynch took the golf cart around Cal Berkeley Stadium and just had fun with it. Marshawn, free shout out Marshawn, you're available, come on out, join us. So that's how they put the ball down to show off the technology. Kind of cool. I'll try to beat that the next time, but for now, I'm going with the rugby ball brought out by a roving cartoon.
All right, so welcome time for our favorite guest who comes on every single night making us look good. It's a major upgrade. Mike Tirico in Tokyo. Thank you so much for being here. I actually, Mike, before we start, I have to tell you what I did. I did some snooping. I went on the gram. I spent some time on social today. And I was able to see you and the Today Show crew touch down, all reading your notes and things and whatnot. There's documents of hard-workingness. I'm putting a ness on that. There's no such word. Can you tell us what was happening? What's this fabulous plan we have in place?
A complete takeover by the Today Show of our set. We were outside, and Roker and the crew just come in, and they took the whole place over. So it was kind of like a welcoming thing. You know, if you move out of a house, it's really nice to welcome the new occupants. So we're going to do this like on a daily, nightly basis. I just wanted to be there for them, and it was weird for them because we're on early in the morning here, and they're on at night, so their body clocks are all messed up. So we just wanted to make sure that they felt welcome. And Kenny, that robot that you just showed with the rugby,
Yeah.
you realize that at the Paris Games, this show will be hosted by a robot. One and done. You're in a full John Calipari mode. This is one and done for all of us
I do.
on this.
Mike, I wanted to know if you went out to the surf. Did you take in the action out there and get the activity in the ocean?
I did not, Kenny. The waves are just a little too far away for us to kind of do it between segments. I was hoping to sneak out during a gymnastics segment, but if it was a little bit closer to where our set was, the surfing schedule was interesting because they left a pretty wide swath of time for surfing in the Olympics because the weather conditions can change. So, but they've actually moved it up a little bit because of the tropical storm that Carrie was talking about. That coming through, churned up a little bit better waves. So the surfing is working out pretty well. But I don't know if I told you guys this in our visit yesterday. Our visits are so special that they're running together. Do you know where the surfing is for the next Summer Olympic Games when they're in France?
No, where?
The surfing competition is in Tahiti. I'm not joking.
I was going to go to Portugal.
But
No.
explain the connection for us so we understand.
The government connection, province of France. So Tahiti technically belongs with France. So we have, I can make this exclusive announcement, we will have our entire NBC Olympic primetime show live from Tahiti all 17 days, even though it's thousands of miles away from Paris.
Wait, is Peacock involved in that? Who do I need to call? Where are the bosses? Where's my phone?
No. Peacock will be right where it is, but we just do this show. This group of 20 of us will be in Tahiti for all 17 days, and we'll have the most extensive coverage of surfing in the history of primetime Olympic broadcast.
I think that's going to be amazing. Thank you so much.
Do I have to say that I'm joking just before it gets on the Twitter?
No. I had already put it out on the Twitter, and a press release is happening. The AP just quoted you, so therefore, Mike Tirico, thank you so much for making the show so special every single day. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, you guys have a good show tonight. We'll see you.
Mike's doing it up on NBC. Here's what we're doing here. A huge night for Katie Beckman. She just stays in the pool. Runs everything.
Yeah.
Terry hooked us up for a Damian Lillard exclusive interview we're calling in. We got Bill Walton on board. He's going to take us to places we've never been. And then you got U.S. Rugby Sevens. Oh, that's going to be fun. And then Beth Mullins joining in the studio in advance of Japan and the U.S. All right, to swimming, just mentioned Ledecky earlier on this day. 200 free. This is Heat 2. Katie Ledecky. Check it out.
So Ledecky, the defending Olympic gold medalist in lane 4. And so the familiar water of the Tokyo Aquatic Center engulfs Katie Ledecky again.
I want to talk about how technically sound Katie Ledecky is. She works so hard, not only on her swimming, which most middle distance and distance swimmers do, she works on her starts, her turns, and her underwaters, and it pays off in races like this.
Ledecky's going to get there first. 1:55.28. Zach Hardy, the world number 8, out of Huntsville, Alabama. He is in lane 6 for the U.S.
Zach Harding, we normally see on the deck wearing some sort of Batman garb.
Eddie Wong, Chinese Taipei up in lane 3. And the final turn for home is Burdizo. It is Wong and Sento in 3rd. And Harding has moved from 8th at the 50 to now 4th in the final final 50 for the U.S.
And this is how he swims this race. He likes to come from behind in that last 50. He's going faster than anybody else. So let's see if he can make his heat.
He's starting in 6, and it is Wong in 3, and the touch will go to Wong. But Hardy has a lot of trust in his game right there. From 8th up to 2nd. We're going on top of the wall. There's now Kate Douglas prepares to make her Olympic debut, a native of Pelham, New York, just outside Manhattan.
This event right here, you are going to swim all 4 of the strokes: butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, and freestyle, and just 50 meters of each. Douglas is relaxed. She's rotating easily. Something that you want to watch here is the legs. You don't want to blow them out on the backstroke. Breaststroke is all legs. She's getting nice and wide out front. She is using that kick.
Almost a second ahead of the field in this second heat. She's the NCAA champion this past March in the 50-yard freestyle. Douglas wins the heat 9:16. Yu Ting second. Hashi Yu third. Las Vegas native Erica Sullivan, half Japanese. She will drop into Olympic water for the first time in her life. She might be the face in the future of ultra-distance swimming for the United States. She knocked off her ultra-distance models earlier this year. Sullivan is open up about a 1-second lead on Quadarella. Sullivan in the third lane, see to the far left. So Sullivan to the wall in Olympic record time, 15:46.67. That's a personal best for Sullivan by almost 5 seconds in her Olympic debut. And make no mistake, this is a race custom built for Katie Ledecky.
She is so mentally tough. She truly is. And she is one of these athletes, again, I'm going to say it, you get once in a decade to watch this lady swim. It is a privilege each and every time to watch her in the water.
Unimaginable routine. And to the touch, a new Olympic record.
All right, we were able to say a little bit Katie Ledecky there. She took care of business in the heat for the 200 as well. And the semi-final, we'll have that a little later on tonight. We'll see her just a minute ago in the 1500 feet earlier. She clocked the fastest qualifying time this morning. She is the world record holder at that distance and will race for gold in that event tomorrow night. I am impressed. Joining us now from the Tokyo Aquatic Center, 3-time Olympic swimmer Elizabeth Beisel. So I have, as I'm writing my intro for you, my friend, I was like, I'm going to call her all-knowing because you told us, you warned us, perhaps if I was really deep into the swimming as you are, that was going to be a tight final with Ledecky and Titmus. So talk to me about the energy of the race. Katie looked as if she was gracious, you know, taking away the silver, but I know that had to be a lot.
Yeah, the energy was palpable inside the entire stadium, even though it's not filled. And for Ledecky, like you said, she is such a gracious winner and a gracious loser, and I can't even call her a loser. She won a silver medal at the Olympic Games, her second fastest time ever. So we have to really appreciate that Ledecky is still putting up times that are absolutely insane for not just her, but the world, of course. But Titmus, Ledecky, it was a showdown of the ages and highly anticipated, and that race delivered to everything that we thought it would be.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, does Ledecky still hold the record in the 400-meter free? Even though she lost, or, well, had a silver, she didn't lose a silver. Let's correct ourselves. Does she still hold the record?
Yeah, no, you're fine. Yeah, she still has the world record. Titmus is closing in on that. But I think the great thing about those two is their dynamic. They respect each other so much. They push each other every single day. And Ledecky has even said, you know, I would not be the athlete that I am today without Titmus constantly chasing me and pushing me to be better. So it's a healthy rivalry, and it was such a pleasure to watch that in the pool.
I love hearing athletes say that, especially at this level. They love the competition. It's a healthy rivalry. I would love if someone just came on and said, no, I don't like her, and I want to win. But I guess that's not what you're supposed to say. That's not the Olympic spirit. Meanwhile, let's talk about Dean Boxel, for that matter. He is now infamous, famous, he went viral. Did you see that celebration? I don't know if we can, Susan, run that video. It was something to see for the ages. Like the way he celebrated. What was your reaction when you saw this, Elizabeth?
So I only saw it on tape. You know, we're watching through the monitors with NBC, and when the camera guy zoomed in on him, we were like losing it. I've never seen a reaction from a coach like that. You know, and the coach that I swam for when I was competing at the Olympics, you know, I would need to literally break the men's world record to get a reaction like that. My coach was very subdued. I would maybe get a good job after my race if I won a medal. So that reaction was something that I have personally never seen and experienced, but he's passionate. You know, the amount of work that goes into taking down somebody like Ledecky, who is a legend in the sport. It's an amazing accomplishment, and I guess if that's how he wanted to celebrate, that's how he wanted to celebrate, and it was great too.
If you like it, I love it. That celebration was something that I will not try to mimic, but I appreciate it. Meanwhile, let's go back to the pool. Talk to us about Ledecky. We mentioned the races that she will be in. What should we be looking out for? Will it be as exciting as what we saw last night?
It will be just as exciting as last night. She has a massive double in tomorrow night's finals. She's swimming the 200 free final, and then just over an hour later, she'll be competing in the 1500 meter free final, which for the 1500, it's the first time this event has been contested in the Olympic Games. So she has an opportunity to put herself on the podium twice in 1 hour.
Wow.
And between those two races, she may have a medal ceremony, she may have media, so there's a lot going on for her at tomorrow night's session at final. So a lot to look forward to from this amazing woman, Katie Ledecky.
It's interesting that we're talking about the fact that she can be on the podium twice tomorrow night. Does this remind you of what Michael Phelps was doing? I believe it was 08 Vision, where we were watching. I mean, when I tell you I was glued to my television because we all wanted to see what had never been done before. Does this have that same type of feel?
Yes, Katie Ledecky is, I guess for lack of a better term, the female version of Michael Phelps, putting herself on the podium every single race she swims. And this is the type of athlete that you don't really get to see maybe at most once every couple decades. So the fact that we have her to watch here at these Olympics, and we've had her for the past 3 Olympics, she's a treasure. It's special, you know, and I don't want to take her for granted. You know, she's obviously one of the most talented athletes in the entire world, swimming, any sport, regardless. But she puts in the work too. And I want everybody to understand that, yes, she has the talent, but she makes that talent work for her when she's practicing hours every single day, and adding that extra year to the Olympic cycle is not easy physically, is not easy mentally. So she's had to go through some bumps in the road to just get here to Tokyo, but she's delivering as promised, and that's what makes her a champion.
You know what, Elizabeth, you talked about that yesterday briefly, which is why I wanted to have you back. You talked about how difficult it had been for these swimmers, especially not having the proper facilities to train in, adding an extra year. So what we're still witnessing is history in the making. We should not take that for granted. That silver is still something to be proud of. Elizabeth Beisel, again, every single day, all day, we need to have you here. We appreciate you so much for joining us on Tokyo tonight, okay?
I love that. Thank you guys for having me. I will come back whenever you want me to, I promise.
You got it. You got it, my friend. Meanwhile, let's head on and go to London. The U.S. has a winning pool play already. They're going for tonight at the Tokyo Stadium against Ireland. Let's take a listen.
Just 2 points in it. What? Madison Hughes, a bit of pressure. Takes the ball from the kickoff. Managed to clear it. Now, what can they do? Still 4.5 minutes to play. Cleared away by Thomasy. Baker under pressure. Ireland got the bit between their teeth now. Here's Kayvon Williams. Hughes. Williams staying in support.
Jack Kelly on the far side of the pitch and able to run his knees and bring the shot to get it wide. It's looking to be
That's a high tackle. That needs to be a yellow card. It's the last defender. The referee says play on. So maybe Ireland a little lucky, but they've still got a lot of defending to do. Williams sends it back in field. Now a straight run to the line for Thomasy, the man of the golden boots. And some of the leaders restored now for the USA.
Well, you perhaps have to say it's a bit of a moral try because there was no way that number 9, when Thompson made this break, Conroy stops him. If it was deemed to be a high tackle, which the referee said it was, should have been more significant than just a penalty, but the referee chose that decision. The guys played on, a bounce on the inside, and then this line brought Thomasy dead straight. The Ireland defence shot, just defending with 6 men, with Kelly not able to finish the set. Ruthless from the USA.
There's a nice play there too from Javon Williams. Just delayed the pass, picked out the perfect runner. Thomasy scores. Conversion is good for Madison Hughes. And the lead's back out to 9 points. Ireland have had to make the change with Kelly. Left hobbling, unable to defend it. Right hand edge. The USA taking full top. Hughes picking off towards the far side. And in the end, it's right. Shoulders grabbed it for Ireland. Turns, makes a good round back up towards halfway. What can Ireland do to respond? Horan now has been a very determined runner. Good tackle made by Thompson. Offside. Yeah. They were offside. Yeah. The referee brings them back to the mark. Yeah. Frustrating, but you've got to take the kick from the right spot. Nice touch fight. That's a beauty. It looks like Mason Brown's gone down. From Arizona, he's receiving some attention in the middle of the field.
Far off the same position that Kelly was before as well. He managed to dust himself down, gets back down, he's definitely not running right. You can see the lift that he's got going back to his try line. You're running on adrenaline at this point. You've got to think about the significance. They're trying to hide him as the first receiver. Thomasy's going to take his place in the back line. Well, that's a bit of a gamble to start the pitch at this point.
Mark Roach is the man who takes over the line-out throwing duties. McNulty again, the target this time he comes forward. Oh, it's been beautifully knocked away. And so, Carlin Isles gets an opportunity. This is the man with the jet shoes. They called him the fastest man of the game. Couldn't outstrip the Ireland defence that time, and now a rather loose ball goes all the way across to Thompson. He did such good work at that line-out. Brown clearing it away, shoveled on smartly by Williams, and now breaking up the middle is Thomasy. Snapped up by Williams. Alan Isles driven to the ground. Referee said couldn't go for it, the ball wasn't clear of the ruck, so Ireland had to hang back. Matai Liu to put on the ground. And all Irish players caught retreating, they're offside. Referee will play advantage here. Nice stepping from Williams. Hughes always prepared to get his hands dirty. He goes in to help out. Brown, he's really hobbling, but he's still there. Now he goes in to help out at the ruck. Thompson plays the ball back, cleared by Leota. Calmly, Thomasy just calling his teammates back into the action. The ball's been lost, snapped up by Ireland, and Horan's going to score. Foster Horan the try, and there's still time to restart play.
Well, if anyone deserves a try, it's that man. Foster Horan could not have done any more in the game. Sadly, he scored it after the seconds had gone. The number 4 for Ireland. He's been a standout player in this game.
Yeah, you're right. It was 20 seconds over, not 20 seconds under. And so the game ends.
be in shape.
Oh, yeah.
That's organic.
That's our analysis.
That's our analysis. You got to be physically in shape. So the U.S. and South Africa are the class of pool C and rugby sevens. Regardless of the results tonight, they have both already qualified for the quarterfinals. I know you need to know that. Meanwhile, last night, Norway captured gold in the men's triathlon. Tonight, it is the women's turn. Let's head out to the Marine Park to see what we got going.